Hi, everybody. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the MPC Spring 2023 semester. I'm your professor for Anatomy and Physiology 5, or Basic Human Biology. Please excuse my messy office. I won't make you look at it for very long, because let's look at how to be successful in our anatomy class. So you may be asking yourself, okay, this anatomy course is online. What does that mean for me? How am I going to be successful in this class? How is my professor going to make sure that I'm successful and that I will be able to do everything that I need to do? Don't worry, I got you. So in order to access this course, you're going to go and do everything through Lobo Apps. I guess I should introduce myself. Sorry, I'm Megan Knoll. I've been teaching for MPC as an adjunct professor for about 8 years, something like that. And even before the pandemic, sorry, I have a cat who's making noise. Even before the pandemic, I moved to Los Angeles, and MPC said, please keep teaching for us, and I became an online professor. So even when pandemic happened, I was well on my way to having a successful course, and so you know that because you're here. So hello, and hopefully we're gonna get through this all together, and you're gonna be successful as well. So let's find out how to do that. So my background, by the way, is in biology and comparative physiology and marine biology. So you're going to hear a lot of comparative examples as well as human medicine examples, okay? And I also teach high school. I actually run a research institute in Los Angeles for high school students, and that is I call it my day job, my main gig or whatever, but actually secretly I love being an adjunct uh, a lot. So let's get into it. Okay, so how do you find our course? So hopefully as an MPC student, you go to Lobo Apps, which you find on the MPC website. You go to mpc.edu and go up to Lobo Apps. You click it. Your screen may look a little different because I'm a professor. I might have access to things you don't, but the things I use the most and I recommend you use the most are your email and Canvas. So our courses accessed through Canvas. All of your courses have a Canvas shell or a Canvas access place. Not every professor uses them, but our course is going to be accessed through Canvas almost exclusively. Now, by the time you can see, these are all the classes that I've taught. By the time you're watching this course will be published, and so you'll see it pop up on your dashboard, and you'll see a bit less than I see because bloop, I need to go in and update all of this. And so what you're gonna see, boop, 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 none of this. Okay. Anyway, so the thing that you're gonna see is hopefully, let's see how you see it. Yeah, okay, so it looks like this for you. You're seeing this first tab and it's got what's in here. So whatever is happening in this each module each week that opens up is going to have everything that you need to be successful for the week, okay? And so please, please, please make sure you're going through this through Lobo Apps, okay, through Canvas so that you get all the information you need. Because the way this course works is we are half lecture and half lab, and they only barely intertwine, okay? They intertwine, they overlap in that they are the same subject, sort of, but really the anatomy section, so anatomy is the study of the body, and basically it's the study of where stuff is, what it's called, okay, and how it relates to something else, okay? So like, what is this muscle called? What is this little part in between your nose called? Why does it have the same name as the thing inside in between your heart chambers? It's called a septa. Oh, it turns out septa is just something that means thing in between other things, okay? So you're gonna learn stuff like that. But that doesn't tell you what it does. That's what physiology is. So physiology is the study of how things work and how they affect biology, okay, or your own personal biology, okay? So that's why this is human biology instead of just anatomy or just physiology, because it's looking at human as a whole. Your lectures are going to be more the physiology side, and they're going to be covered in lecture exams, okay, and they kind of exist in their own little bubble, okay? So you're going to be watching lectures that I give. I promise I try to be entertaining in a genuine way. My cats keep it interesting by breaking things. It's great. So your lectures for this class are going to have they're going to have a little introduction. They're going to have slides for you to download so that you can take notes on them. And then they're going to have a video component where I'm talking about it, okay? And the fun of this is that I pick and choose the lectures over the last few years that I've been teaching, and so you get to see how my hair has changed over the years. It's very exciting. It's not really exciting, but whatever. You'll just see a variety of bang lengths. It's great. And then, so that's the physiology side. And so the lecture slides, you don't turn anything in for the lecture slides except for at the very end. So basically what you're learning in the lectures is going to add up to everything you need to know for the exams, okay? So there are, where are they? For some of the lectures, not this one, most of the lectures will have a question set that goes with them to kind of help guide you in what information is the most important to know through this lecture. Because you'll notice this first lecture is 40 minutes long. What does that mean? What do I really need to know? And most professors are going to say, you need to know everything. Okay, cool. But also, what's really going to be on the exams? It's going to be what's on it's in your textbook, especially, because the questions are based on this information from your textbook, and the lectures are actually based on that as well. But then also, those question sets are also going to help you kind of figure out, well, these are a lot of words, which ones are really important. Okay, so do make sure you look at those question sets. I think I'm going to start adding secret extra credit points into these. So let's do that now. So then if you're watching this, you're awesome. Well, I can't do it in this view, but that's okay. I'll add a little extra credit portion to the end of this, and for every extra credit question, and there'll be silly things like, what's your favorite color? Who's your favorite Muppet? Or whatever. Okay, so then you'll send me an email. I'll know you're keeping up with the course, and then you'll get extra credit on your exams, okay? Because a lot of times people skip the lecture exams altogether, and then they're surprised when the lecture exams are, or they skip the lectures, and then they're so surprised when they don't do well on the exams. How dare you? And so it's just kind of silly. So let's not do that. Let's make sure you're watching the lectures, taking notes, learning your anatomy, okay? So that's one part of the course, is just the lectures. So let's go. Ooh, okay, let's go back and let's talk about the labs. Now, because this is an online course, we have to, but it's still a lab class, we have to have a pretty intense lab section, okay? So, let's okay, so labs, so how do we do our labs in an online course? So someone emailed me and asked, am I going to have to like take home specimens and dissect them? No. You don't have to do that in this class. This level of anatomy, if you took it at MPC in the classroom, in the lab, you would be looking at models, you would be looking at experiments that have been set up mostly for you, and then you just watch whatever happens next, etc. And so in order to simulate that and reproduce it in the online situation, we have to use the core, and to make sure everyone gets the same level of information, we have to have access to the textbook for the class, okay? So this is where, and if you want to go into the syllabus to get more information for this, you can. Okay, so you can go into the syllabus. All the information in the syllabus is up to date for you. You'll notice that here's my email. Here's our section. I don't have office hours because I don't live in Monterey or any of the surrounding areas, but I'm happy to meet through Zoom anytime you want, okay? I used to have office hours, and then for 2 straight semesters, not a single person came to them, so now I just do it by appointment. Just send me an email if you want to meet, and I'm happy to meet with you. Okay, so technically you should be spending at least 3 hours on your lectures and 3 hours on your lab work, plus extra study time, okay? So a lot of times professors will say, you must spend, for every hour in class, you have to spend 3 hours reading. Well, this class is almost all memorization, unfortunately, because you don't want to go to a medical professional and they say, oh, you heard that? I'm not sure what it's called, but let me look it up real quick. Okay, no. This is where you need to start learning and memorizing all of the things, okay? So if someone says, oh no, I injured this, you'll say, that's your distal phalanx. Yep, yeah, that's what it is. And it doesn't help them at all, but at least you know what it's called, okay? Etc. That kind of thing. So that extra 3 hours of study, usually that's just you looking at flashcards, looking at quizzes online about anatomy and physiology, or some people get the anatomy coloring books, and those are good, but sometimes they go over a lot more than we go over in class, or they use different names, and we try to so one of the problems with being in a field that is used all over the entire world is that people give different names to things, and so we're trying to keep things kind of consistent at MPC by all using the same list of naming conventions for everything. So do keep that in mind. If you go somewhere else and you see a different name for something, you still need to know the one that we're using in class, okay? But those coloring books can be helpful. So let's keep going. Beep, boop, boop. Okay, so the textbook. How do I get the textbook? So the problem with being an online class is you must purchase a new version of the textbook, because you need to be able to access, if we go back here, if you're going to be able to access any of the labs, they all happen through the textbook portal, okay? So if I was, oh no, I haven't set up the, I have set up. You'll see in a few minutes. But anyway, if okay, whatever. Let me go back to me as the instructor. I don't know how. Cool, cool, cool. Let's log that out. Anyway, in order for the assignments to populate your Canvas course, okay, you have to have access to the textbook. Now, here's where people get stuck. Is sometimes they'll get access to the textbook and then they never go back to Canvas because they just go to the website for the book. That is not going to do you well for this course because you need to be able to access. Okay, really fine. You need to be able to, because that's just the lab component of the class, and it's not the lecture component of the class. And like I said, they don't always overlap, especially in the first units of the course. We're going to be talking about the micro side of things in the lecture part, and the macro side of things in the lab part. Okay, so macro means things you can see with your eyeballs, and micro means stuff you have to use a microscope or smaller for. Okay, so let's go back to our course. So even though they are both under anatomy and physiology or human biology, you cannot do one and not the other and be successful in the course, okay? So let's go and look at what happens. How do you get access to the course? Okay. Clearly, I thought I did this and I didn't. Okay, so let's get this set up. Okay, like I was saying, when you, I don't remember what I was saying, but here we go. So, how do you access the assignments in this course? Did I just have to set up the book because I forgot? Yes, I did, but it's fine. Everything's working now. Okay, so, like I was saying, you can't just get unfortunately, because this is an online course, you can't just get somebody else's book who already took the course because you have to have a connect code, which is the way you connect to the textbook site so that you can access the assignments, okay? Because unfortunately, that is the only way we can have an online course is to have a standardized ways of having assignments that are all at the same level, right? And so here's what you do. When you go, this is the only time you should do this in the entire course, and people don't always do it this way, and then they are not successful because, again, they are only doing half the course. But the very first thing you should do once you have your Connect code, or even if you don't have your Connect code, if you haven't gotten the book from the, I don't have it open anymore, but from the bookstore. So if you look at the bookstore, the book costs $117, okay? That's a lot. If you go on the Connect course, like it looks different from, my section looks different from yours because I'm looking at it from the teacher side or the professor side. But when you go to my Connect section, it'll give you an option to either put in the code or to buy access, okay? If you buy access this way, it should only be about $75, okay? So there you go. If you bought it the other way and you want to return it, that makes sense. And get it this way, whatever. Just make sure you have access because you cannot do any assignments and turn them in until you have access to the site. Okay, so when you look at this, it's a mess. Oh no, what do? You don't have to do anything else. Once you have made the connection, you either put in your Connect code or you buy the Connect code. You just go right back here. And when you go to your Canvas course, you'll notice that when you go and click on the assignments, let's let it load for a second, you'll see, oh, lab tutorial. It has a due date on it. That's when it's due. Oh, look, it's also put up here. And it tells you the points that are assigned. Go deck down. Okay, let's go back to student view so I can make sure I'm looking at exactly what you're looking at. Yes, here we go. So you can see, okay, it's got the due date. So anything with a due date and a point assignment, that means that it's something you have to do from the textbook, okay? All of your assignments, except for I think one extra credit assignment, which is sent to me separately. It's locked because the course technically hasn't started yet because it's the night before. I'm recording this the night before. But when it's open, it'll have you, once you just click from Canvas, it opens the assignment up in Canvas for you through the portal. You do not have to go back to the textbook website. Don't be one of those students that only goes and checks the textbook website for, here you go. So you'll see this. There's a link to how to do this, etc. Okay, so that's what it looks like for you. Okay, so once you've signed in with Connect, just come back to Canvas and never go back to Connect again, okay? Because again, you are going to be getting information from the lecture only in Canvas, okay? But the lecture exams are going to happen through McGraw-Hill. But if you haven't watched the lecture, you're going to be at a serious disadvantage for the exams, okay? Because I'm one of those professors who says, if I haven't talked about it, it probably shouldn't be on the exam, okay? Because I'm not assigning you readings. Now, if you go to the syllabus, so again, if you go to Introduction to Knoll, which is my last name, I go to the link document. If you go down to the bottom of the syllabus, beep, boop, beep. Here's all the stuff that we have to say, like is the registrar, here is the et cetera, education outcome. Here is how you're going to be graded. Okay, we have 3 practical exams, we have 4 lecture exams, 1 final, about 20 simulations and 20 question sets. Okay, you get to drop your lowest test, either one of the lecture exams or one of your lab exams, or if you do so well in the course that by the end you have a grade you want, you can drop the final. It's that awesome. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, what do I want to say? If you keep looking through this, here's some basically amassed knowledge from people who have taken the class and said how to be successful in this course, which is just so full of information. Okay, so have time to go over this. The biggest thing is that you really need to be accessing this information at least 5 times a week. Okay, so yeah, you can wait till Sunday and do everything on the same day. However, the system might crash because that's when everybody's due dates are. That's just how professor brains work. Okay, if the system crashes before you turn things in, if you're waiting until Sunday, I don't have a lot of sympathy. Okay, you're gonna have to talk to IT to get the system, make sure you have access. Okay, and either you're gonna talk to IT through Lobo apps, through our apps, or through McGraw-Hill's IT folks. Okay. But if you're doing it as you go, and you'll see I have a recommended schedule that you should look at, you'll not only will you be getting the information better, but you'll guarantee that you get to turn things in without having to worry about the system crashing, okay? But whatever you do, you're going to want to be testing yourself on the information you're getting over and over and over, because like I said, unfortunately, this class is mainly a memorization class. You're going to be memorizing 200 different bones and features, 200 different muscles and their different groups and attachment points, etc. You're going to be looking at how just so many definitions. Unfortunately, a lot of the introductory classes in the natural sciences have to be just definition based before you start to get to doing analysis based things. Okay. Okay, so boop, boop, boop. Here is your dates of when you can drop classes, get refunds, etc. But what I was going to was the recommended or the class schedule. Okay, so you'll notice that everything gets assigned on a Monday and everything is due on a Sunday. Now, the only exception is the final is due on Friday because that's when they told me everything has to be due, and I just noticed I did not update this. This should say May 19th. Okay, so you must turn your final in. Everything must be turned in by this Friday, the last Friday, because that's just when the school is done. Okay, so that's the hardest deadline in the class. If there's a week in here somewhere where something happens and you need an extension, just reach out. Okay, I check my email psychotically often, and so I am always checking email. So if you need something, anything, just reach out. Just same with all of your professors. The worst that can happen is nothing. Okay, so make sure if you need something, you're reaching out. Okay. Okay, so why did I bring this up? Okay, so this tells you what you should do each week. Okay, so like for example, the first week you're getting the book information. Okay, we're talking about the syllabus. That's this, and then you have 1 lecture this week and 1 lab. Oh, I need to move that. Okay, so I forgot. I kind of made it a bit easier. I mean, it's fine. I used to put 2 lectures and 2 labs in the first week, but that's a lot. Okay, so you got 1 lecture. Whoops. You've got 1 lab, okay? But you should also do the lab tutorial. It's optional. It's only a point, but hey, you might as well get all the points you can, right? Okay, and you'll notice, what do I have to turn in? I have to turn in the lab questions and simulations, okay? So what does that mean? If I go back over here, what I recommend is just go straight, every week, just go straight through all this, whatever's posted, okay? Because you'll notice, you go, you watch a video, you watch this video, you read this thing, and then there's this next down here, okay? If you occasionally throughout the course, like I was saying, I'll throw in extra credit bonus little questions, like what's your favorite pets, etc. Okay, and they'll have you email me that for extra credit points. So keep an eye out. Don't get lazy. Everything in the universe wants to be lazy, but you got to overcome it. Okay. If you just hit next, what it does is it goes straight to the next thing in this list. Okay. So what I did is at the end of this, I just hit next and it went straight to the next one. Okay. I read this. I watched the videos. I'm done. Okay, here's a bunch of resources for MPC students. I went through and all the links are still working. So if you need anything, like the Equity Library helps people who need assistance with books. If you need, there's a student services hub that has library resources, counseling, tutoring, wellness. Yeah, take advantage of this stuff while you have access, because once you're out in the real world as a real adult, you suddenly have to start paying a lot of money for these things. So I really wish I had taken a lot more advantage of this when I was in college. Okay. We also have, there is counseling, academic counseling. There's also mental health access. Okay. We have a food pantry. Okay. So access, contact these people. We don't want you to be starving. Okay. It can be very hard to be a college student, especially these days. So access the food pantry if you need it. Even if it's not just for you, if it's for your kids or parents you're taking care of, access a food pantry if you can. Okay. If you need a textbook, or if you, well, not a textbook, if you need a physical textbook, not the Connect Code, or if you need a laptop or other things, you can go to the library and check out a Chromebook, or you can just go to the library to study. And the library will also have physical physical skeletons. They're plastic skeletons because it's hard to get human skeletons, because that would be weird. But they'll have skeletons that you can use to learn your pieces on, okay? You can also go into the anatomy labs. There's an anatomy library within the anatomy building. I think it's called the Life Science Building. On that first floor, it's all anatomy and some biology. But if you go in, you'll see the anatomy library, and it's got a lot of things you can also look at there. I love spending time in that little room. Talk to financial services, get all the money you can. Talk to health services, get all the needs you can met before you have to leave college, okay? All right, next. What's next? Next, every week I'm going to try and give you a recommended schedule. So as I'm writing assignments, this is how I'm thinking you should access them, okay? So you get 7 days between when an assignment is assigned and when it's due, okay? So I say pick 5 days, not Sunday. Don't make yourself do it on Sunday. One of the advantages of this course being online is we have no synchronous time. It's completely asynchronous. You don't have to meet for a scheduled face-to-face with me ever, okay, unless you need help and you want to do a Zoom meeting. However, that means you have to be you have to figure out when you're going to do these things. So I recommend making a schedule. So day 1, do whatever it's in here, okay? Pick your second day. Maybe you do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe you work on Tuesday and have a really heavy class load that day. So maybe you do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. Do whatever it takes for you to be successful. But definitely don't wait and do this all in one day. You're not going to be successful that way, okay? And I want you to be successful. Look, I wrote it down. I want you to be successful in this course. And I want to help in any way that I can, okay? I can't learn the material for you though, okay? So that's why I give you these lectures. We went over this, okay? I'll be giving you lectures. Most of the time there'll be a question set that goes with this, but this one doesn't have it. You can download the slides that go with this if you want to take notes all over it. Our brains actually work a lot better if we write something down. You'll remember it a lot better if you write it. We just have been writing evolutionarily. We've been writing a lot longer in our brain's evolution than we have been dealing with face-to-face and typing situations, not face-to-face, but typing situations. So even though it's a lot easier to type, again, everything in the universe wants to be lazy. Doesn't mean it's the best thing. Just because it's not the easiest way doesn't mean it's the right way that's going to work the best. It is actually a lot better for your brain if you write things down, okay? So when I was taking anatomy the first time, I would just write lists of all the bones, and then I'd be like, oh no, the head of the humerus, the occipital condyle, blah, 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 blah. And then I would make myself write them down so I knew what they were called, and then I would go and find them like at the same time, okay? Or whatever unit you're in, okay? Okay, so then what's next? The lab module. Again, it will pop up in here, and you'll do the assignment here. Oh, what's next? Just go through. Again, follow your schedule and decide what you're gonna do. Okay, so in the labs, a lot of times I'll give you a lab introduction. Here is what's very important. The lab is not just the stuff you have to turn in. It is the lab here. It's the PDF. Please download the PDF because it has all the instructions you need. Sometimes I have a little video that goes with it, but you must download all of these things, okay? Because these darkened things, what is this called? Bolded words. These are what you're going to be tested on the lab practicals. So the lab practical is, hey, look at this. Tell me what it is. The lecture exam is a lot of, hey, here's this thing. What does it do? Okay. But in terms of the lab practicals, you'll notice this is part 2. Wait, what was part 1? Oh, it's a thing that, it's a lab, it's a simulation through McGraw-Hill, through the textbook, okay? But you need to go through this all the way, okay? You need to learn all these parts. You need to understand and name the membranes, okay? This is annoying to do sometimes, but you look at this right now and you're like, these words are a bunch of nonsense. But once you learn the system, it's very easy. Okay, so well, it gets easier. So this is parietal pericardium. So I look at this, and when I first looked at it, I was like, absolutely not. Until I realized peri means next to, and cardium means heart. So this is something next to the heart. Okay, the visceral pericardium means it's something next to the heart, but it touches the guts, because visceral means guts. Okay, parietal means not the outside, basically. Okay, so these are two membranes that happen. Well, I don't need to tell you this. You'll watch it in the lab. See, it's very fun once you learn it. Anyway, the most important thing here is make sure you go through the lab PDF all the way through. Yeah, it's a lot. It's an important class. It has a lot of things. You'll notice there are practice questions in the lab. Okay, but then there's the things that you actually turn in are the ones that are locked right now, the assignments that are within the what you're going to be doing for the week. Okay, so what else do you need to know about this course? Every week I'll be hopefully sending a little, hey, how you doing video, or at least an email saying, hey, I hope everyone's doing fine. Don't forget to do your work this week. And every week you'll see another one of these pop up. Well, it's old, that's fine. That has what you're doing for that week. Okay, and if you want to look ahead and say like, hey, I know I'm going to be out of town for the last part of this week. Well, I keep doing that. But I'll have 2 labs due that week. Then you can look at the syllabus and try to figure out how to make sure you're going to be successful for the semester, because this schedule is not going to change. Okay, this schedule is set in stone. If I say you're going to have a lab practical that's due by Sunday, March 5th by 11:59, that's when it's due. I'm not changing it. Okay, because that's not fair to you, because it's all set now, right? Everything is always due at 11:59 on the day. Okay, so like this is Sunday at 11:59, Sunday at 11:59, etc. Do I need to tell you anything else? I think that's all you really need. I think I have talked quite enough for one day. And you'll be seeing my face a lot because you'll be watching all the videos, right? Yes, you will. You're going to be successful in this course. I know it looks like a lot, but you're in this class because you know you can do it. So I know you can do it. And if you ever have any questions, just let me know, okay? So remember, my name's Megan. You can call me Megan. No doctor nonsense, whatever. I didn't get a PhD. I don't have an MD. I just love science, and I love talking about science, as you can already tell. And I want to make sure you're successful in this class. So always reach out if you have any questions, okay? Okay, good luck.